sensory motor do? It's really simple. It just means it has to do with both sensory systems and motor systems. So those two things are really closely related in the nervous system, and that's why we have just one word for both.
The same way they goddamn designed the atomic bomb from the structure, biological structure of a female. The same way they goddamn designed the atomic bomb. War. I don't think creation was put here for war, my nigga. I think all this shit is man-made. It got men around here playing God. They don't get it shit.
And what are brain-computer interfaces? That's just a direct communication with an outside machine and with the brain, or actually some other part of the nervous system. So your nervous system is your central nervous system, which is your brain and your spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system, which are all the nerves that come out of your spinal cord and go out to your muscles and the other parts of your body. Does that make sense? Okay, this is a 3D computer rendering of the surface of somebody's brain. You might notice that this is just the top part, so the brainstem and the cerebellum are missing. It's not because they were missing from the brain, they're just missing from the picture. This was made from a series of MRI images, magnetic resonance imaging. You guys know the big magnetic bore. Does anybody have an MRI? Yeah. They use big magnets basically to take pictures of what your brain looks like. This is the brain of a graduate student that works in the lab that you're working.
Shit, my alarm finna go off at this. My alarm going off at 6 o'clock. I get up every morning at 6 o'clock. Shit. I'm finna go off in goddamn 23 minutes. Revolution never comes to the wars trying to sit for me.
And they record the visual environment, what you would see with your eyes, and then they turn that into stimulation that they're providing actually on the tongue in this case. So you can see she has something sort of sticking out of her mouth. That's because she has an electrode array on her tongue. Why would they put it on the tongue? That seems like a weird place to put it, doesn't it? Yeah. Close. So you do have taste buds on your tongue, but you also have a lot of tactile sensory receptors on your tongue, so you can feel things really, really well when they're in your mouth. That means you have a lot of sensory acuity on your tongue. That's the word that we use. You have a lot of resolution. So you have a lot of different points that you can see with in your mouth as opposed to on other parts of your body. Like on your arm, very poor sensory acuity. Okay. Now I want to talk about some motor devices. This one is called a functional electrical stimulation, or an FES device. This is for people that have spinal cord injury right about here on their neck. That means they can still control their head, their shoulder, and their neck, but they're paralyzed from here down. So they're functionally quadriplegic. Okay? So what they do is they take electrodes and they embed them into the muscles. The muscles in the arm and in the shoulder and in the back. And what happens when you stimulate the peripheral nerves that go out to the muscles electrically, it causes the muscle to contract because your muscles are electrically active, okay? So if you do that stimulation in the right order, you can actually get functional movements out of that. So what they've done is they've enabled people to extend their arm, to flex their arm, and then they give them a couple of different grip options.
See, my alarm gonna go off on that phone about 30 minutes.
Unable to use their arms now to feed themselves, or to shave, or to brush their hair,
about an hour
which maybe doesn't seem like a lot to you, but if you can't do any of those things, that's a pretty big deal. So I said that people have...
What if you can already do those things? What if you can already do those things? What if you already can do all those natural things? What if you can already do those things? What they do?
Hey, I heard that shit. Hey, no, let's drop GM shit again, nigga. Buy me a 100 chopper. 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 this sister. In the full of that liquor. I'm beating on my chest like who wanna fuck with gorilla? Birmingham, Alabama, coming straight from the sample. When it comes to the swag, too much for bitches to handle. See these drugs and clips, real niggas gon' bleed the bill. T-shirts say fuck the couple. Chop with Chiquita, flip west side. 100 choppers, I be 100 choppers. Travel 100 choppers, I better not get caught out. I be 100 choppers, I be 100 choppers. Niggas hell, I caught on my t-shirts and walk them off. I be 100 choppers, I be 100 choppers. Travel 100 choppers, I better not get caught out. I be 100 choppers, I be 100 choppers. Lady, this helicopter, my t-shirts and fuck the cobble.
What up, Teresa? What up, Butterscotch? Those are talking about that brain, Butterscotch. I told you, when you split that brain, you'll see those two Egyptian eyes, those two Kemetic eyes, the left and the right eye that sits right above your cerebellum. You know what I'm saying? And your central nervous systems and all that good shit that these people have been a long time for years and years and years and years and years and years and years experiment on you. Yeah, you gonna always be all that shit gonna always be number one on the list because they are doing what they do. But people don't understand. They don't understand they have. When I be saying I respect creation, I respect the perfect creation, and the people who come and you know what I'm saying. They come in and give you this imaginary world, this matrix world, this motherfucking, this illusion of something imaginary outside of existence that they know about. Yeah, once you start believing what they talking about, you go to falling for all this kind of shit. You know what I'm talking about? I thought we supposed to be people that respect nature and let nature take its course. You know what I'm saying? Shit that great grandma and great grandma them taught you and shit about nature and shit, about how to live off the land and shit. But these people that took all of the land, fighting over a lie about some religion that they done made up about God. When they ain't talking about nothing you can see naturally, they telling you about some shit that somebody telling them in privacy. And it's just the God of the Jew. That's why these Muslims and these Christians over here in the Middle East still fighting over land that don't even belong to you, that belong to everybody to have natural rights to live on quote unquote God's green earth. But check this out though. This 2017, right before Kanika kicked in, right when Trump was goddamn already in cahoots with his brother over there, Putin and shit. You know what I'm saying? The Ashkenazi and the Khazari. And then, you know what I'm saying, we already know that the Ashkenazi Jews want to goddamn bag Trump fully because he is a goddamn German, like I've been telling y'all for 2 motherfucking years. But check this out, this August 17th. The U.S. military is working on creating a generation of super soldiers. You think they ready? You think if they told you this in 2017, how long you think they have been working on it before they told you? I always know that the military is going to always keep top secret classified information that they withhold from the people and the masses for years. They feed you the technology at a pace, at a rate that they want you to observe this information. And once they feed it to you, they psychologically evaluate your behavior and your interactions with whatever technology they put out to you. So niggas who think they want ahead of the game and think they know everything, man, you'll never know what's going on until you figure out where you at in this shit. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga talking about you gonna goddamn create a super soldier, create a generation of super soldiers which will be genetically modified. Genetically modified, dehumanized, gonna genetically modify a motherfucker. The same way you eat GMO foods, you're gonna be walking around this motherfucker not knowing who has been genetically modified. Why you think it's so easy for these motherfuckers with these badges and authority to just go on, just be on go? They ain't got no human is in their head. They don't give a fuck. It's complete the mission. Why you think so many 70 and 80-year-old folk getting shot down by nonsense? They got these, you think these motherfuckers ain't out here, bro? Anyway, man, that's just my opinion, man. Genetically modified and given technological implants. Implants. Y'all think about a motherfucking chip? They trying to chip us and shit. They trying to bring the chip to you. What the fuck you think they doing to them soldiers? And then they been experimenting on and harvesting their ass for a long time. Also, yeah, that's what they be doing, harvesting motherfuckers. Create a war so they can harvest and do what they want to do. Is for advancing technology and shit like that. In my opinion, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, which is a part of the U.S. Department of Defense. I told you, the Department of Defense is always going to be a part of this shit. That's the step below all the other fuckery I be telling y'all about. But the Department of Defense, those are the contracts that these big companies want. They want to be able to manufacture the tanks, any kind of weaponry that the U.S. that those contracts are. People do a lot of corrupt shit and conspiratory shit that we'll never know about unless we goddamn look into this kind of shit, man. But just goddamn just fuck around for a minute, you dig? Check this out. The U.S. Okay, we just read that, right? DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, which is a part of the U.S. Department of Defense, has revealed that the plethora of plans to create an elite fighting force. These Trump super soldiers. Trump gonna do a whole lot of more shit than niggas think if they think it's over with. Yeah, we're gonna beat that. Okay, we're gonna see. One of the projects on the horizon is to create software which could be uploaded directly to the brain. Software that can be uploaded directly to the brain. Not to goddamn help nobody who been paralyzed and can't move their arm. Not to help someone. Not to help no one. You know what I'm saying? This the technology. This is the defense technology and shit. Yeah, China and Russia and all these motherfuckers, they still be on the same old bullshit. Yeah, while we be waiting on the guard of the 2% of the sun back to us, and we be caught all up in this bullshit while they still fighting over land, doing crazy shit. Create software that could be uploaded directly to the brain to give their soldiers heightened senses, which also attempting to cure ailments such as blindness, paralysis, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, and speech disorder created in harmony of capital. Now, okay, they got to throw it in there like they trying to help someone who's been injured and all that shit, but you see what the real deal is. They gonna take their top fit soldiers, niggas who ain't got nothing wrong with them, and implant this shit into their brain. Turn it and gonna genetically modify a human being to become a super soldier, and they also use their motherfucking exoskeleton shit that they scrap on, which it connects, you know what I'm saying? It connects, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how this shit go. Researching, it's a goddamn, one word to activate them motherfuckers, and they ain't gonna quit till it's over, my nigga. Real shit. You think they see these kamikaze ass police out here goddamn acting crazy on motherfuckers, they running down on motherfuckers for little neck. Little children be getting shot over BB guns for the motherfucking longest around this bitch. Motherfucker, nigga, grandmas and everything, niggas be getting shot down for no reason at all. But shit, a regular human being would say, goddamn, he didn't have enough sense to see that the guy was goddamn surrendering. Nah, he don't give a fuck. He on go, nigga. Certain words gonna snap their mind and they gonna be on motherfucking go. Yeah, and new skin, yeah, Jake, I already know you here. DARPA will apply $50 million into researching the role neural networks play into operating the brain in order to decipher how it processes sensory input. They will then hopefully create the technologies and the algorithms which can interpret and generate signals to the brain. Yeah, I need to go look this shit up. But This 2017, this right, this August 2017, right before that Connecticut shit, right when Trump was talking about the fake news and declaring war on gangs, all the distractions and shit, this is what he put in place. When he went over to Israel and all that shit, he already got that shit going down out here, just going down. The God part of it, it's a statement from DARPA said that the program now, the program known as Neuroengineering System Design, NESD, aims to develop an implantable neural interface able to provide advanced signal resolution and data transfer bandwidth between the brain and electronics. We just heard that the lady said goddamn brains and neurons goddamn interact with each other to electrically, you know what I'm talking about? The implant will act as a translator, converting digital communications like binary codes into electrochemical language used by the brain. Not no motherfucking therefore my son spending English, French, none of them. It's gonna be some goddamn electromagnetic waves, energy, replacing the natural energy of the sun when you get your natural intelligence in creation. They gonna demonize the sun and they gonna goddamn show you how they gonna you gonna be, man, how they gonna be in this making so motherfucking hard. It's gonna be so fucked up around because ain't nobody gonna have no natural ability to think for themselves or do a goddamn thing for themselves. They ain't gonna be able to go get a natural seed, put it in a natural ground and get a natural plant. No, you're gonna be eating GMOs. They gonna depopulate this motherfucker, dehumanize and have all these goddamn robot soldiers running around this bitch, just like you seen on the Jetsons and shit. Just like you watching all these motherfucking space, believe in all this bullshit they talking about, man. Black power, man. The program filled, what is it? This nigga filled said that the brain computer interface BCI's program looks ahead to the future in which advanced neural devices offer improved validity, resolution, and precision sensory interface that therapeutically applications in science, military weapons. But I just got to come show y'all that shit. Let's see. What up, Nike? Some of these GMO soldiers they gonna put out here on these niggas. They gonna go, whatever layer they gonna go in, they gonna go in, they gonna be running up into the houses and not. They ain't gonna run into the military. They gonna run up and take over the little. You know how they do? Run up in every house, make sure they got them take all the weapons out of the house. It going down over here pretty soon. This third world era. You know what I'm saying? They gonna see how the goddamn military really operate. They gonna go right up in that mother, come right up in folks' land and goddamn and take over the people who ain't got nothing to do with a goddamn thing, bro. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't doing this. See, I find a video. I don't think it is. Now the first video was from 20. Let me see. Yeah, this one. I want to check this one here. Old Trump and his.
My other colleagues that are at DARPA, my journey to the agency was an opportunity to expand the impact of the work that I was doing in neurotechnology, find new avenues that it could be applied. And I was thinking very deeply about this problem.
This is Dr. Justin Sanchez.
Miami, and I got a call out of the blue.
Check him out.
So I promise you, nothing that I show you today is going to be an illusion. So with that, again, my name is Justin Sanchez, and I'm a neurotechnologist by training. And like was just said, I was at my lab at the University of Miami, and I got a call out of the blue. At the other end of the phone, there's a person that says, we need you to come immediately to Washington, D.C. and come to DARPA. And that's really where the whole story begins. So what is DARPA? DARPA is the high-tech research branch of the Pentagon. And I'm currently the office director in the Biological Technologies Office. And like many of my other colleagues that are at DARPA, my journey to the agency was an opportunity to...
That boy Eli. the boy Eli, who is the CEO, Arab Turk from Lebanese, the one who got down run all the Crown Plaza business out of the headquarters in Atlanta that's really based out of the UK. You already look him up. Yeah, Elon Musk. He the one that got people thinking they going to Mars this year in July 2020. He making billions and billions of dollars. You know, they around selling people stars and all kind of shit. Talking about that's how they keep your mind fucked all up. Elon Musk got that. I think he got try. He not a dual. He got try citizenship. He got citizenship in like 3 places, 3 different countries. Elon Musk is a motherfucker. He got being that dumb shit about this space shit. All these rockets that can come back and land in the same goddamn spot and all that old bullshit. All that shit is bullshit because we get caught up in the technology. Ever since we've been watching that television, we've been being programmed. Ever since they gave us this book about in the beginning, we've been being programmed. We're one of the biggest, largest MK Ultra ever. This world shit, busting up the world script, nigga. Ain't nothing should be transmitting to you. He's giving you information but the sun, and it don't have a linguistic. That son is not going to say, "Hey, God, son, look, go over there and fuck those folks up over there and take that land. I promise that land to you. Amen." All that bullshit. But I don't know. But yeah, Elon Musk, motherfucker, he perpetrates that goddamn that space shit and going out of space. That's the same way. That's the same motherfucker that ATF caught the car in the studio. They were acting like the car was going out of space, but ATF caught the car in the studio. They fucked up and we caught their ass. Yeah, we caught them. We always catch them for the people who woke.
Expand the impact of the work that I was doing in neurotechnology, find new avenues that it could be applied. And I was thinking very deeply about this problem. I was thinking very deeply about the brain. I've always been interested in the brain, but not just from the medical sense. I always wanted to use engineering, apply it to the brain to deepen our understanding of the brain, and then try to find new applications of what we could do with the brain. So whether it's the work that I did in the past or the work that I'm currently...
The mad scientists, the German mad scientists, you know all the mad scientists came from Germany. You know, after World War I and World War II, all the scientists spread it out, came in. Some went into Russia, and most of them came over here to the United States, and then they formed this place. Not NACA, they turned NACA into the Nazi NASA, which is going to tell you about a globe, and they're going out of space, and then they're going to race to the moon. Will tell you that they do their research and base all their information off a flat plane. Earth is a flat plane. If it wasn't a flat plane, why would they goddamn base their information off of a flat plane? Why wouldn't they use the technology and all these scientists that know how to do all this shit? Why wouldn't they base it off this ball of water that is spinning around in the motherfucking midair and space and shit? Why they got all us looking crazy at this motherfucker, but not knowing we're looking crazy because we're gonna be saved. Our promise, the promised land, once we die and get a chance to go see the pearly gates up in the sky that we can't never see. If we goddamn going past the moon and through the rocket, we should have been passed by God at least one time. Goddamn, we ain't seen damn motherfucker with no wings flying around out they back or none of that shit. It's all energy, people. And they have sucked up all of your energy with this religious shit. You don't want to come back to creation. That's all I've been trying to tell y'all, but it's all bullshit.
Doing at DARPA, the goal has always been the same: develop new technologies that enable humans to use their brains to change the way that they interact with others and interact with the world. And while I'm at DARPA, we're thinking very deeply about national security, but what I'm going to show you today is that a lot of the technologies that we're developing go well beyond national security and actually are going to challenge us.
National security? Man, y'all got the UN in a frenzy over there with all this new technology y'all coming in with. The UN is in an uproar over there because they know some fuck shit gonna come. They just don't know when, but it's coming, boy.
As humans. So, DARPA got its beginnings in 1958. This is when we started pushing the envelope of things, and that's when, in our country, we learned about Sputnik, right? The Soviet Union had Sputnik, and the leaders in our country were totally caught off guard by this. And they said we could never be caught off guard ever again. So the agency was formed with a singular mission, breakthrough technologies, and the agency takes risks where others, like in industry or other parts of government, are unwilling to take risks. Okay, so we set off on our mission, and we were trying to make these breakthrough technologies. Now, along the way, we said, okay, if we understand very deeply the science and technology associated with these kinds of breakthroughs, we not only can predict the surprises that may be anywhere in the world, but we can also create a few surprises of our own. Now, while we've been doing this over a vast number of years, one of the things that did emerge from all of our work is it's not the technology alone that makes all the difference. It's how the people of the world use the technology that we develop. Okay, that's the fundamental game changer in all of this. And a terrific example of all of that is the smartphone. So all of you probably have one or maybe even two smartphones in your pocket, and you may not know that a lot of the technology that's in the smartphone has its roots in DARPA. So Herb mentioned the internet, GPS, which enables us to find our phones or locate where those phones are. The touch screen that's on your phone that enables you to interact with it, that was a DARPA development. The accelerometer that's in the phone that enables you to change the orientation of the screen as you rotate the phone. Siri, also a DARPA technology development. And all of those aspects, again, while they had their roots in national security, came together in this small device, and it changes the way that we perceive our world and the way that we interact with our world. Okay? Now, what I'm going to show you today is not the smartphone. I'm going to show you a new way that we're developing technology to interact with the world for the future. And that's really the technology of the brain. Now, the brain is an amazing organ. When it functions, there are millions and millions of neurons that become active, and they send signals not only to their neighbors, but also to very different parts of the brain. So to a person like me, the brain is not a black box. The brain's not just this goop in between your ears. It's a very intricate and elegant signaling of all of these neurons and how they evolve over time. And what we've done at DARPA is develop the technology in order to sense these signals in real time, or even write signals into the brain. And today I'm going to show you a few examples of what that technology is and how it actually came to be. Now, what's really important in all of this is that at DARPA, when we think about the brain, we think about the people we serve. So make no mistake about it, we're a part of the Department of Defense, and we serve military personnel. Now, the part that really struck me so much when I came to DARPA was how hard a job these military personnel have to protect our freedoms, protect our families, and protect our way of life. So again, when we think about the brain, we think about their job to control complex systems or learn complex tasks. They're under unbelievable stress, and then ultimately a lot of these people make the ultimate sacrifice and actually get injured. And some of our most early programs at DARPA have been to develop neurotechnology to restore those people back to their more whole self or their more natural self. Okay, so think of direct interfaces to the brain to enable some.
They keep on saying they want to restore people who were injured to their natural being, but now they want to create. They create GMO soldiers. I just told y'all that. We're going to just listen to what the capabilities of it is.
To move again after they've been paralyzed in service of the country. Okay? Now, what we've learned along the way in all of that is that those discoveries, right, those technologies are opening the door to a whole new set of possibilities for the future. Okay? So how do we do all of this? So this may be your first time hearing about a direct neural interface, and in the middle of the screen up there is actually an example of one of the types of neural interfaces that we're using in humans today. So this is a sensor array. It's about 4 by 4 millimeters. And on this sensor array, there are 96 sensors. Each one of the tips on that little array can detect between 1 and 3 neurons in your brain. All right, and we have the technology in order to identify those neurons, amplify their activity. There's minuscule signals actually happening in your brain. You can send those signals into a computer, and that computer can interpret what all of those signals actually mean when you're thinking about trying to do something. And we can place these sensors anywhere in your brain or even in your peripheral nervous system, right? These are the nerves that are outside of your brain, okay? So while you may have thought of neurotechnology,
but we already know they're deeper than this because they can transfer your whole entire memory that you have. obtained in your lifetime on a microchip. Did you know that? Myra know that shit. Y'all keep up with Myra, man. Myra be spinning that real shit in between the bars, man. They got the oop out here, right? But niggas think niggas crazy. But they can goddamn process and download your memory, your entire memory, onto a microchip. These motherfuckers out here know these motherfucking people is doing everything that we say they doing, that you see them doing. Their job is to create chaos and keep you distracted from real shit that's really going on around this bitch. Real talk. Cloning exists. You eat GM, you eat clone food every day. Nothing is natural anymore. Nothing is natural anymore, man. Man, you know they fuck Gucci up. You know they fuck them up. He got the same skin. They got all that good melanin from that boy. But I don't think we can tell by the ears no more. I know when I first got off into that shit, you can tell by the ear pattern be different and shit. I think they probably perfected that shit. We got here because they be listening.
As I've just described to you as being something way off in the future, it's actually a technology that exists today, and we're actually using it with humans. Now, how did we get here? Okay, so again, I'm telling you about something that you may not be familiar with, but we actually have a history of working in neurotechnology. And it turns out that in the early 2000s, neuroscientists like myself didn't even know if it was possible to read out, let's say, 100 neurons of activity in real time from an awake behaving individual. So we started in animal subjects. We said, okay, let's try these sensors out. Can we read out the signals in real time? And can we do something simple like control a robotic arm? And we showed that we could actually do that, just having the animal think about it. And once we proved out that technology in 2005, we said, okay, we're ready to go to humans. Can we place the same technology in the human brain and restore the ability to move and even sense after you've been injured? And I'm going to show you a couple examples of this. Yes, we could do that. And we said, okay, again, this is DARPA. We tried to push the limits of what's possible. We said, okay, if we can do that for movement and sensation, can we try to do something even more complex?
Listen, he talking about DARPA now. He talking about the defense, the Department of Defense. He talking about DARPA. He ain't talking about no people who done been fucked up and trying to come back and regain their control of things. They use it for that. But he talking about using soldiers, U.S. soldiers, that's in their top physical being, and go inside their shit and genetically modify their way of thinking in their brains. Then they put on their new skin, like MJ said. A whole bunch of RoboCops, a whole lot of men in black in real life. Yeah, that shit.
Complex. So we went to memory in the human and said, okay, for humans with traumatic brain injury, could we restore their ability to form and recall memories? Again, direct brain interface. Now, here's one thing that may blow your mind. The kind of questions that we have to go after here are answering things like, what is a memory in your brain? Right? Have you ever thought about what a memory is, what those intricate neural firing patterns actually are, and how you need to interact with them in order to facilitate memory formation and recall? That's the scale of the problem that we're actually working on at DARPA. Again, being DARPA, we don't just stop there. We keep moving forward in our trajectory. I actually started a new program in 2018 about the sub-networks of the brain, but for the most challenging problem of neuropsychiatry, and that's mental states, right? Think about depression, anxiety. Think about trying to develop a direct neural interface to help people with their depression and anxiety. And again, the same questions are there. What actually is depression in the brain? What are the neurons that are involved in anxiety? Those are the kinds of things that we're ultimately going after, okay? So we have a very long trajectory here, right? Over a decade of work in this space. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to show you some examples of the achievements that we are able to do today, and then paint a picture for you for what the future of neurotechnology may ultimately hold for us, okay? So the first person I want to introduce you to is Nathan. He's the one on the right side of the screen, and Nathan is living with paralysis. He was paralyzed in 2004 in an automobile accident, and Nathan...
Hey, Huggy, you remember we, about a year and a half ago, we did them videos on, the first human head transplant. The first human head transplant they did. You remember that shit?
Was actually a freshman in college. He was studying nanotechnology. When he heard about some of our studies, said, I want to be a pioneer in that. So he signed up to do one of our studies. And Nathan had that same array, right, that 4x4 millimeter array placed in his motor cortex, right, the part that is involved in movement. He had another set of arrays placed in his sensory cortex, okay? And you can actually see on the upper right side of the screen there's a little plug that's coming out of his head. That's where those arrays are connected to. And the wires send the signals from his brain actually to that bank of a rack of computers in the middle of the screen, process all of his neural activity in real time, and actually send that activity to that robotic arm. We also developed the robotic arm, and he met President Obama, was able to think about moving the robotic arm, and shook the president's hand. Okay. Now, the other part of this story is that that robotic arm also had sensors in the fingertips. So when the president placed his hand on the robotic hand, the force transducers took that information and did the reverse, went back through the computers, went back through the wire, back into Nathan's head, and he could actually feel the president's hand on the robotic hand. It was truly a remarkable moment. Okay, so that's what Nathan can do. Let me show you a video of something else that Nathan can do. All right. So this is Nathan taking these cones and he's kind of building this structure. And he's doing all of this just by thinking about it. You can see he's not moving his own arms. He's just producing the neural signals directly from his brain and stacking those cones. Right? So think of this, right? You're a paralyzed person being able to interact with the world in this way. It can really be transformative for you, right? You have a new way to project yourself onto the world. All right, so Nathan, he was astounded by this moment, life-changing for him. But we asked him, Nathan, what else do you want to do? And he's a gamer, and he said, I want to fly an aircraft. So we said, okay, we can help you to fly an aircraft. So the next thing we did is we connected him to a F-35 Joint Strike Fighter and put him out over Las Vegas. And we basically remapped his neural activity onto any control surface that we ultimately wanted to on that Joint Strike Fighter. Again, put yourself in the place of Nathan. Think about how you're locked in this wheelchair, and then think about your ability to actually control this aircraft, change your perspective of the world, and see it in a very different way. And I think that he sees Las Vegas in a very different way now that he's able to fly over. And Nathan started having a lot of fun with this, and at the very end of this run, he's like, I'm just going to do a barrel roll here, and did a barrel roll in the aircraft. And it just kind of shows you the creativity that a person like Nathan with a direct neural interface, what they can ultimately do. So that's what we can do today. What does the future look like with these kinds of technologies? Okay, so think about building with your brain. Think about changing your perspective of the world by flying over a city with the brain. So in this vignette, this person is an architect, is paralyzed, lost control of his arms. He needs a new way to communicate his ideas. So through his direct neural interface, he can connect to his drafting software, position buildings anywhere he likes, the details of the building. Maybe he can even connect to a collaborator out in the field to get a different perspective on the building, okay? And imagine, in the future, building a skyscraper just with your brain, just with the perspective of your brain. It could be transformative. All right, so that's Nathan. The next example I'd like to show you is a person, his name is Doug. Okay, and Doug was injured 25 years ago in a near-fatal electrical accident. And Doug's very different than Nathan in the sense that he has no hands on both of his arms. He lost both of his hands. Imagine living your life that way. But for Doug, we also explored the possibility of a direct neural interface for him. So in this particular case, we took that same sensor array, but instead of placing it in the brain, we placed it into the nerves of his forearm. And you can actually see on the right side of the screen there, his residual limb, and that's where that sensor array is. Now, what's different in this picture is that we connected his peripheral nervous system to that 3D virtual environment that's in the center of the screen. And there's a virtual hand there, and it's going to be touching a virtual door. And whenever the virtual hand touches the virtual door, signals are sent back into that electrode array, into his nerves, and this is what Doug can actually do with that interface.
exciting when you do that?
It's cool, right? And imagine working in that 3D world just through your nervous system. It really is amazing. So when we see something like this, we say, can we change the future? Can we change the way that we even play, right? So imagine in the future you had a direct neural interface, and that direct neural interface gets you off your couch in a virtual way, enables you to explore virtual worlds just through your direct neural interface. And we've got game controllers and cameras to do this now, but it's nowhere near the kinds of things that I'm talking about here. Again, exploring your cognitive space in this virtual world could be transformative. What if you could even connect to your friends all across the globe through your direct neural interface and kind of explore what that would actually be? Okay, so what we're doing...
Remember I told y'all about 2 years ago, I said those motherfuckers don't have to go to the Bohemian Grove anymore to meet up. You remember Alex Jones and the rest of them motherfuckers that used to be spying on the elite and the rich, you know what I'm saying, the elitists. They used to go to Bohemian Grove to meet, and then the word got out that they don't even have to go meet up anymore, that they do it through neural implants, that they got there to meet virtually. Remember I told y'all that shit? Anybody remember that shit? Over there, got it. Oh my. Alright, man.
Today with Doug is just the beginning of what we think is possible in the future. Okay? So the last example that I like to...
If they saying it's possible in the future, they already doing this shit. Know that. Know that. If they saying that they think it's possible in the future, they just know that they already did this shit, perfected this shit, and the top elite are doing this shit. You understand? That's why they can't catch them meeting up no more. They don't have to meet up anymore like that. They just go out there to the Bohemian Grove, the old Boy Scout, goddamn, the old National Boy Scout, where they go out there and worship the aisle, and then they just catch them in these little meetings and shit, they trying to put the cameras in their face and all this shit, and Rothschild telling them that they're wrong for doing this. And they can't catch them doing. They can't catch them on no meet up no more. They can neurally meet up, or how they just laying in their bed and sit there and click in with their interface and actually have meetings of what the fuck they want to happen in this world, while we sitting back as public believing all of this motherfucking matrix that we tied up in, man. Real talk. You never got there and get back. We can't back. We done lost nature, bro. I ain't a part of it. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga eat GMOs and shit. Ram sleep. See what I'm saying? I know I ain't the only crazy person in the world. Thank you, Miss Daniela, for being another crazy person in this world. Thank you.
Give for you today is in something much more difficult. It's in that area of memory. Okay, remember, memory is a very tough concept. In this particular case, there's a person that has volunteered for our studies. This person is living with intractable epilepsy, has seizures that are uncontrollable. And part of their therapy is that they come to the clinic and they have sensors placed in and on their brain in order to try to map out where this problem is occurring. And it turns out that some of the places where those sensors are located are in the memory structures of the brain. And we ran a test where we asked the question, could we develop a direct neural interface, stimulate the brain in order to facilitate memory formation and recall? This is for declarative memories, memories about facts. So this is how it goes. In this particular example, the person has to recall 12 words. We know how hard it is to do something as mundane as that, right? Think of phone numbers and things like that. In this case, we do it with brain stimulation and without brain stimulation. We're going to sense its cognitive state, and when we detect that memory is low, we stimulate the brain in order to facilitate its ability to do it. So the first example is without stimulation, and let's see how good he actually does. 12 words, no stimulation. We got through 3 of them, and we've all experienced this. He does the old face palm, can't get through the rest of them, right? So now we're going to do it with direct brain stimulation. Got all of them. And that was the breakthrough moment for us. He said, I had a good picture in my head I could just see. It was the moment we knew that we were having an effect on his memory circuit. Okay, so transformative moment for all of us that were involved. So what does the future look like? Well, imagine as you're getting older and you have a more powerful form of this kind of neural interface and you're feeling maybe a little nostalgic and you want to record some of your memories. Maybe there's a possibility of using a direct neural interface to actually do that. And maybe you use that neural interface to record the moment you went on a first date, maybe the first time you proposed, or even the birth of your child. And then if you even had the ability to share those sets of memories with your friends and family, it could be transformative for how we ultimately live our lives. So, recall back to the examples I gave you with GPS and the internet and Siri. Those all came out of Department of Defense kinds of technologies, but they ultimately came together in a way that changed society. And we think that in the future that neurotechnologies like the ones I just showed you are going to be picked up by commercial entities, right? They're going to use neurotechnologies in the future. And, you know, at DARPA, we create these breakthrough technologies in order to change the future and change the world. That's what we do. That's our mission. Whether it's for a person to try to command and control a complex system, or it's a person that has extraordinary injuries and we brought them back to a more normal quality of life. We know that these technologies are extremely powerful, and we also know that they can be used for good or for ill. And without a doubt, these kinds of technologies are going...
They can be used for good or for ill. Or for evil. I'm gonna go see and I goddamn get an image of that neural interface. Hold on.
I'm going to introduce new societal questions that we're all going to have to address. And, you know, just a few to consider. Will neural enhancement be considered a personal choice like laser eye surgery or even braces? Will there be a huge disconnect between the neural enhanced haves and the have-nots? In the future, will neural enhancement or some form of neural enhancement be considered a right, instead of a personal choice? These are just some of the questions that we have to think about, and they're not just questions.
What the fuck do he mean? Would it be a right or not just only a personal choice? What the fuck? That was some double talk one. Would it be a right or a personal choice? So if it's not a personal choice, the right will override your personal choice not to be chipped. Did y'all catch that? Would it be a right and not just only a personal choice? It made me think about the Bill of Rights and shit. Like, you want to force the Bill of Rights upon your motherfucking ass. You don't force it upon you and shit. The fuck? That was some double talk right there.
For the technologists here, they're questions for all of us. So how the future of this very powerful technology unfolds really depends upon all of you. And as we shape that future, and we really make choices associated with that future, it's the choices that we make that will define us as individuals, and it will really reveal who we are as a society. So, as I've shared with you today, the brain is an extraordinary organ. It has the potential to completely change the way that we interact with technology. So whether it's building with your mind, thinking of a new perspective of the world with your mind, changing the way that you play and interact with your friends, or even finding new ways of recording and sharing your memories. These are all the possibilities of the future. And it's DARPA's push into these very difficult areas which is making all of this possible. And that really sets up the last question for the discussion today is, what will you accomplish with your brain in the future? Thank you so much.
Industry in the U.S. So imagine being able to play all the Call of Duty and Halo you want while sipping down on...
Hold on, I want to go see can I get a image of that interface. Let's see can I get an image of that interface. super soldier. Them super soldiers around this bitch, been around this bitch. See, I got it down to that kind of place. You don't see it. You don't see it. I want to see an image of the interface. It gotta be smaller than that. It look like it might be right there. Not as small as they want. My bad, y'all. I'm just being old. Comedic science. Where mine at? Where mine at? The comedic science. I wonder why they took the cerebellum out. Little man, Teresa. Not man, Teresa, man. Butterscotch. Ours. So ours is the right eye. I forgot which one the left eye is. I forgot which one is the left eye. See, eye. All seeing eye. The all seeing eye. All seeing eye. I got these in my folder in my screenshot. That you all seeing out right there. There's two eyes is right there. There's two eyes is right there. Me and Butterscotch was fucking with this other day. There your Egyptian eye is right there. You know what I'm saying? You go into it and see how deep it goes. The comedic science. Myra gonna put that back in the middle school system. Myra gonna put that shit back in the middle school system.
Hello, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. The US and one of their biggest weapons manufacturers begin a partnership to develop...
It's exoskeleton that they show you the shit that they put in, but they ain't gonna show you how the biological... They ain't gonna show you how they really just... They just can't feed you all the way down to the cloning and how they really create these robotic people that's walking amongst us right now today, man. Some people's mind can't fathom the thought, but it's already popping, man. These folks been living underground and having these underground bases and traveling up under that ice and all that shit. Every time you say,
Super soldiers.
technology ain't got them. Niggas don't get no technology. Just sit it up on the shelf and put it in a medicine cabinet. Don't fuck with it. They keep advancing on this shit. They taking vital organs on it. Real shit.
Fake news will be fought by an unlikely alliance in Nigeria.
What?
A passage to peace between India and Pakistan. We'll tell you about the Kartarpur corridor. And pay less pranks and punks, making them pay more. At the top of the newsfeed, exoskeletons, military-grade ones. Now, technology that started as a way to help people unable to walk after accidents is being turned into a weapon of war.
What? It's being turned into a what? A weapon of war? What? Technology that started out to help people who has been paralyzed and shit like that is turned into a weapon of war. What? Get it, Trump. It's 2020 now. You had 3 years to goddamn get your motherfucking soldiers ready. Nigga, I know them motherfuckers ready to do crazy shit. I already been doing.
President Trump promised to make his military stronger than ever, and now there's news that they are working with one of the world's biggest arms manufacturers. The goal to allow soldiers to stand and march and run for longer by attaching
back, nigga. Run that back.
skeletons, military-grade ones. Now, technology that started as a way to help people unable to walk after accidents is being turned into a weapon of war. President.
Run that back.
For the newsfeed, exoskeletons, military-grade ones. Now, technology that started as a way to help people unable to walk after accidents is being turned into a weapon of war. President Trump promised to make his military stronger than ever, and now there's news that they are working with one of the world's biggest arms manufacturers. The goal to allow soldiers to stand and march and run for longer by attaching robotic skeletons to their bodies. Yep, watch this.
At the beginning of this month, the world celebrated the end of World War I, a war that was supposed to end all wars. Despite that reminder, militaries around the globe seem to be forging ahead with developing the next generation of weapons.
The war that supposedly ended all wars. Another world lie, huh? Another world lie. The war would never end, nigga. You know, Trey, get me out of here.
Just this week, the U.S. Army awarded a multi-million-dollar contract to Lockheed Martin to develop exoskeleton technology to turn their fighting men and women into super soldiers. Worn over a pair of pants, the exoskeleton uses a suit of sensors, artificial intelligence, and other technology to aid natural movements.
The idea is that we're going to take the capabilities of some of the fittest, highest performing individuals in the world, these infantry guys that you were just talking about, and we're going to
They good. They good, bro. They good naturally. They naturally good. They cool. They don't need, nah, y'all gonna chill them. Y'all been genetically modified them motherfuckers? Okay, come on with it.
extend those capabilities. We're going to make them stronger, we're going to make them last longer, and we're going to make them go faster and
God damn, they remind me when they fucked my head up when I was little, when they with the $6 million man, and they came with the $8 million man and shit. Motherfucking the bionic woman and shit. They just prepared us goddamn mentally for this unnatural ass shit, bro. We can make him faster, rebuild and make him stronger. Niggas tell me goddamn. Hey, who remember the $6 million man? I mean, I might be too old for y'all, man. The $6 million man, boy, they made that shit come true, boy. Them movies y'all see on TV, they might be breaking down shit, goddamn scare you, my niggas. More of them just wake your ass up. Goddamn, what can we do, nigga? Can we get back to reality? Instead of this virtual reality, can we get back to nature itself? Can we demand these motherfuckers start letting us eat real food again? Can we smell some goddamn real grass again, nigga? Can we smell some real rain again? I seen MJ goddamn chasing some clouds today, goddamn. Man, look here, man. Look here, man. Boy, it gonna take a nation of millions to goddamn pop back right. Million goddamn free game was keeping game playing. Oh, motherfucking I ain't trying to go there, but you know what I'm saying? When we were talking about Gaddafi and I do it very calm for the went on there and talk that shit about the woman running, what he gonna do? And that nigga end up being chipped up and dipped up and bitched up on that skull. Ain't going, goddamn, man, you did. Man, this shit weird, bro. The nigga supposed to have his own military shit, nigga. How the fuck you got your own military, nigga, that motherfucker? In the motherfucker, in the US got your motherfucker. All the weapons you got is some bean pies, nigga. The fuck is you talking about, man? The fuck is you talking about, man? Man, shit, who we got, nigga? The people we supposed to be entrusted in and try to get behind and follow, man. All this shit just a trap, man. These niggas already been in the fold and sold out, man. You got to just go ahead and get ready to goddamn do your robot dance and shit. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson shows how to do the robot and shit. Yeah, then we gonna be the robot around this bitch, my nigga. Fuck natural, fuck nature, fuck goddamn creation. Okay, Keisha, Teresa. You know what I'm saying? Fuck nature and creation. I love it, man. I love nature and creation. Bro, I sure was out here with some real motherfucking cucumber one time. I mean, some real ones and shit. You know, to my emo, they took everything. They done goddamn boxed up all the resources, barreled up all the resources, contaminated all the water, nigga. Fucking with the skies and everything, right? Man, shit, man, the world is weird, bro. We waiting on goddamn a savior to come fix it. They gave us the savior, they gave us this shit. Thinking this shit ain't real nowhere, no how, no way, nigga. Ain't nothing but what's real. What's real is creation. On the table that has been prepared before you is what you see, what you know, what you know what I'm saying. I don't know, bro.
Farther, we're going to take them that extra mile.
Microsoft was awarded a nearly $500 million contract to provide its augmented reality headsets to the US Army. It's not exactly clear how the 100,000 headsets will be used, but the government description of the program stated it is intended to
increase lethality by enhancing the ability to detect, decide, and engage before the enemy.
And it's not only the US. Earlier this year, Russia deployed its Urine-9 robot tank in Syria, a fully armed weapon with no space for humans. And China's military drone industry, already one of the world's largest, is pushing ahead with
As I told y'all, they goddamn, they think of Trump bullshit. Trump just went over there and took over some more land over there in Golden Heights over there in Syria, man. Real shit.
swarm drone technology. All of this has the UN worried.
The impacts of new technologies on warfare are a direct threat to our common responsibility to guarantee peace and security. The weaponization of artificial intelligence is a growing concern.
Why would goddamn President Trump take us up under the guidelines of NATO when the United States up under NATO is without we hook to Israel, and Israel is that's where most of our goddamn money go and our help go to Israel. That's who called the shots for the United States for real, the Jews in Israel. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all understand that? Israel gonna tell the motherfucking American troops what they gonna and what they not gonna do, man. Trump put a bill out, man. The national defense, we ain't got no national defense, but they holler about national defense. Who do our military actually work for, nigga?
Well, Professor Toby Walsh has written extensively on AI and future weaponry. He's part of a movement of academics and experts and politicians working at an international level to get the most egregious of those weapons banned.
Well, we should be concerned about how technology gets used to make warfare a more terrible thing, and we're seeing an arms race to use AI and robotics to make warfare a much more terrible thing. And eventually, it will look like those Hollywood movies if we're not careful. These are the sorts of weapons that will turn up in the black markets of the world, that will fall into the hands of terrorists and rogue states. They'll be much cheaper.
The black market? The black market? You mean they'll be able to say this shit to niggas who want to goddamn do some terroristic acts to anybody? The black market? The black market? You mean the same way Arthur Rathbun was selling goddamn cadavers and body parts and heads and shit to the army, to the military? The Arthur Rare Bond that got busted for the goddamn biological resource centers and goddamn the organ broker that he was selling and had contracts with the motherfucking U.S. Armed Forces allegedly. Man, shut the fuck up, man. It's all Kahootie hoops. It's all Kahootie hoops. Iran, the only place in the world that is legal to sell by trade body parts, nigga. They ain't been do shit to Iran. It's all the stage, nigga. It's all the world stage, and they gonna do exactly what the fuck they want to do. No doubt.
Much more accessible than nuclear weapons, and that will really upset the geopolitical order, which is not itself very stable yet. If we do manufacture them, if arms companies do sell them, they will become the Kalashnikovs of the future, and they will fall into the hands of people who have no qualms turning them upon us. And we have to realize that at the end of the day, we will be on the receiving end of these weapons. And they are the perfect weapons for terrorists. They will execute any order, however terrible, however evil, and they will be very difficult to attribute. We've already had a case of a drone attack on a Russian base in Syria where we don't know who exactly was behind it. We could try and regulate these technologies, just like we regulated chemical weapons, biological weapons, blinding lasers, cluster munitions. There are a number of technologies that we did come together as a world and decide it was morally repugnant to use them to fight war, and we should actually ban them. And that has been largely successful. Of course, chemical weapons still occasionally get used, but nevertheless, I think we would be a much more terrible world if chemical weapons were sold and manufactured by arms companies and were widely available. I'm still slightly hopeful that we will ban autonomous weapons.
My arms dealer, I'm telling you, it be so corrupted when it comes down to getting those goddamn, those defense contracts. That was a big part of the shit I broke down when I went into research about, when I researched Rose Line, broke it all the way down to Robert Kennedy being tied into that hotel when he got killed in the kitchen, just like the nigga Jenkins, right around 9/11. When I connected those dots, and it had a lot to do with the Department of Defense contracts. It was leaning towards. You may have to look at those videos when I broke that shit down. Shit is ritualistic, bro. What are the odds of goddamn Robert Kennedy being killed in a kitchen in a hotel owned by these same people? What are the odds? What are the odds, bro? This shit weird.
Before they become widely available, but I'm pretty confident that once they do become widely available, we will recoil the terror, because it will look like those Hollywood movies, and the world will turn against them, and then we'll ban them. It will just be a little harder to discover with nuclear weapons that once they're out there, it's more difficult to close the Pandora's box.
Well, elections will be held in Nigeria in 3 months, and Africa's most populated country has to deal with the effect fake news may have on the result. So a group of competing newsrooms have come up with a decent idea. Philip's in Abuja, and he'll explain. An anti-fake news website called Crosscheck Nigeria has been created by a network of journalists across the country. The platform will allow news professionals to carry out proper investigations and verification of news information before publication. Nigeria is currently experiencing a widespread circulation of false news targeted at misinforming the public via news articles, pictures, and videos posted mostly on social media.
Propaganda? Just say propaganda, bro. We know what it is. Come on with it.
Leading partners, including International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, are hoping that the platform will curb the excesses of warmongers, politicians, and their supporters during the forthcoming elections and beyond. And also, the general public will be allowed to post content to the website. This will go through a verification process by at least 5 top fact-checkers from various news outfits before dissemination. This initiative is set up to contribute to Nigeria's quest to having a free and fair election in next year's polls. The hope is that the website Crosscheck Nigeria will survive a number of challenges against hackers, government interference, as well as gain trust among its prospective users.
And
let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now this is great. A baller called Steph Curry got a letter from a 9-year-old girl called Riley Morrison. Now she wanted to know why his Curry 5s weren't sold in the girls section of the Under Armour website. And he wrote back saying basically the brand had got it wrong and they put the kids sizes all in the boys section, but that was going to change.
Yeah, but I just want to fuck with that goddamn, that neurotechnology shit, them super soldiers. Them super soldiers. Them super soldiers. See, I find Trump talking about it. Trump that coming. Let's see what I find. Let's see, I find some shit with Trump. All this fake break wire ran. I told you all this shit was coming. World stage. World stage. Just what the guess he ain't speaking on. He ain't talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States and the First.
That was 2 years ago, man. Look at that. Some updates on these niggas, man. That's 2 years ago. Updating information, I don't know. We know they out there. We know they out there. All this shit over there talking about it. Ain't nobody talking about transhumanism 2 years ago. See, they talking about they probably gonna be in a rape. Don't trust anyone.
announce that we're building Iron Man. I'm going to blast off in a second. This has been a secret project we've been working on for a long time.
An arbitrary relation. This light frequency has a specific note, which is the note that I hear, but a few octaves lower, so that it's in the audible range. My head was drilled 4 times so that I could have the antenna integrated, so it goes inside my skull, so I actually feel cyborg. I feel that even if I touch the antenna, I feel it's like a part of my body. It really feels like a new body part. There's no way of removing it, so it's...
Man, put an 8 in the chat if y'all still in, man. Y'all see this shit? That's crazy. Yo, they get Trump, they get Obama there to goddamn smooth it over, nigga. Make a joke out that motherfucking shit, you know what I'm saying? Run that back, man. Damn. I wonder why they ain't talked about it in the last 3 years since Trump said he was gonna make a whole... Trump put like $50 million behind this shit. Why they ain't talking about them super soldiers? Where them super soldiers at? The fuck them super soldiers at? We want to update on them all super soldiers. Y'all distracting us.
Basically, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man. I'm going to blast off in a second. This has been a secret project we've been working on for a long time.
An arbitrary relation. This light frequency has a specific note, which is the note that I hear, but a few octaves lower, so that it's in the audible range. My head was drilled 4 times so that I could have the antenna integrated, so it goes inside my skull, so I actually feel cyborg. I feel that even if I touch the antenna, I feel it's like a part of my body. It really feels like a new body part.
Y'all remember when they were saying, Obama had all the most different little scars on his brain like they had been inside his shit. Many of times and shit. I cannot look in the ass.
There's no way of removing it, so it's just like other animals. They have antennas. I decided that I would have an antenna as well.
Hey guys, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मैं हूँ YouTube ओपनर और आप देख रहे हैं YouTube ओपनर चैनल.
I'm going to blast off in a second. This has been a secret project we've been working on for a long time.
An arbitrary relation.
Y'all remember goddamn Martin the Martian and shit?
This light frequency has a specific note, which is the note that I hear, but a few octaves lower, so that it's in the audible range. My head was drilled 4 times so that I could have the antenna integrated, so it goes inside my skull, so I actually feel cyborg. I feel that even if I touch the antenna, I feel it's like a part of my body. It really feels like a new body part. There's no way of removing it, so it's just like other animals. They have antennas. I decided that I would have an antenna as well.
Hey guys, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मैं हूँ YouTube ओपनर और आप देख रहे हैं YouTube ओपनर चैनल. So guys, आज की हमारी वीडियो है DARPA के ऊपर. DARPA डिफेंस एडवांस रिसर्च प्रोटेक्ट एजेंसी, जो कि अमेरिका की एक एजेंसी है जो कि मिलिट्री फोर्सेस, वेपन्स और इन चीजों के लिए काम करती है. DARPA is planning to implant microchips in soldiers' brain. DARPA अपने सोल्जर्स के अंदर माइक्रोचिप्स इम्प्लांट कर रही है, जो अपने सोल्जर्स को साइबोर्ग में कन्वर्ट कर रही है. साइबोर्ग उन्हें कहते हैं जिस इंसान की बॉडी के अंदर कुछ मैकेनिकल पार्ट्स या कोई भी ऐसी चिप वगैरह इम्प्लांट उसके बॉडी पार्ट के साथ कनेक्ट कर दी जाए, जो कि उसकी बॉडी का एक हिस्सा बन जाए, उसको हम साइबोर्ग कहेंगे. डार्पा का कहना है कि इसके जरिए जो सोल्जर्स हैं वो जंग के मैदान में अच्छा परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे. अमेरिका ने 25 लाख मिलियन जो जो अपने सोल्जर्स अफगानिस्तान और इराक में बचे, उनमें से जो 3 लाख वापस अपने घर को आए, उनके दिमाग में कुछ ब्रेन इंजरी थी, कुछ उनके दिमाग को कुछ इंजरी हुई, चोट लगी हुई थी। और साइंटिस्ट ने फैसला किया कि इनके दिमाग की इंजरी को ठीक करने के लिए, इनकी याददाश्त को ठीक करने के लिए इनके दिमाग के अंदर माइक्रोचिप इम्प्लांट्स की जाएंगी। माइक्रोचिप्स आपको बताना चलूं, दिमाग के पीछे वाला हिस्सा जो कि गर्दन के पीछे वाला हिस्सा आप कह सकते हैं, दिमाग का हिस्सा जहाँ होता है हिप्पोकैम्पस, जहाँ पर लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरीज होती हैं, वहाँ पर इसको इम्प्लांट किया जाएगा। और इसकी माइक्रोचिप्स की वायरिंग इतनी बारीक होगी जितना कि हमारा एक बाल बारीक होता है, इतनी बारीक इसकी वायरिंग होगी। तो ये दिमाग के साथ आसानी से कनेक्ट कर दी जाएगी, ब्रेन के टिश्यूज के साथ इसको कनेक्ट किया जाएगा। एनी जैकबसन अपनी किताब में लिखती हैं कि मैंने एक ऐसे सोल्जर का इंटरव्यू लेना चाहा जिसके दिमाग में माइक्रोचिप इम्प्लांट कर दी गई थी, लेकिन मुझे इसकी इजाजत नहीं दी गई। एनी जैकबसन की किताब है द पेंटागॉन्स ब्रेन, उसमें इन्होंने जो कि डाटा इम्प्लांट कर रहा है माइक्रोचिप्स अपने सोल्जर्स के अंदर, इसके बारे में डिटेल इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ लिखा हुआ है। एनी जैकबसन बहुत ही फेमस जर्नलिस्ट है अमेरिका की, जो कि यूएस गवर्नमेंट और यूएस आर्मी, मिलिट्री और डाटा एजेंसीज के बारे में, जो कि सीक्रेट ब्रांच होते हैं, इनके बारे में लिखती है। डाटा सुपर सोल्जर्स बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है। एनी जैकबसन की बुक जो कि द पेंटागॉन्स ब्रेन है, उसमें लिखती है कि इसकी मदद से जब सोल्जर्स के ब्रेन में माइक्रोचिप्स इम्प्लांट की जाएंगी, इसकी मदद से आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बहुत से राजों का इंकशाफ हो सकता है। मशीन्स, मैकेनिकल टेक्नोलॉजी को एक ऊंचे दर्जे के ऊपर ले जा सकता है जहां तक इंसान काम कर सकता है। एनी जैकबसन ने एक फोन इंटरव्यू के दौरान कहा, जब आप देखते हैं कि इस तरह की दिमाग की प्रोग्रामिंग की जा रही है, मैपिंग की जा रही है, माइक्रोचिप्स उसमें डाली जा रही है, बहुत से साइंटिस्ट हैरान होते हैं कि इसके जरिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की बहुत से बैरियर्स को, बहुत सी रुकावटों को तोड़ा जा सकता है, खत्म हो सकती हैं इसके जरिए। एनी जैकबसन अपनी किताब में लिखती हैं कि ये किलर रोबोट्स भी बना रही हैं, एक ऐसे रोबोट्स जो कि ऑटोनोमस होंगे। ऑटोनोमस उनको कहा जाता है जो कि बगैर इंसानों के काम करे, बगैर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के काम करे, उसमें किसी किस्म का ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम ना हो और किसी किस्म की इंसानी मुदाखलत ना हो। ऑटोनोमस रोबोट्स और ऑटोनोमस मशीन्स, वेपन्स, ऐसी चीजें भी डाटा अब बना रहा है और कुछ बना भी चुका है, जो कि खुद ही अपने टारगेट सिलेक्ट करते हैं और खुद ही उन पर निशाना लगाते हैं और जो उन्हें ठीक लगता है वही करते हैं। हम सिर्फ उन्हें स्विच ऑन और स्विच ऑफ कर सकते हैं। अमेरिका में इसको लेकर बहुत सी मुहिम भी चली, बहुत से प्रोटेस्ट भी हुए कि ऐसे किलर रोबोट्स हमें नहीं चाहिए, ऐसे किलर रोबोट्स बनाना बंद करो। अगर आप इसके बारे में डिटेल से जानना चाहते हैं कि ये क्या है, तो मैंने इसके ऊपर एक वीडियो बनाई थी, ट्रांसह्यूमैनिज्म। आप उस वीडियो को जरूर देखें क्योंकि वो भी न्यू वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर के ऊपर मैंने बनाई है। तो उसके अंदर मैंने बहुत सी फीचर टेक्नोलॉजीज के बारे में बताया है कि ट्रांसह्यूमैनिज्म क्या है। और उसमें से एक चीज जो कि इंसान को रोबोट की शक्ल दी जाएगी और रोबोट से काम लिए जाएंगे, उनमें से एक कदम जो न्यू वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर का है वो बढ़ चुका है और वो शुरू हो चुका है। तो आप वो वीडियो देखेंगे, इसका मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक दिया है, आप इस वीडियो को देख सकते हैं। डॉक्टर का कहना है कि इसके लिए हम इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज, बहुत ही खतरनाक बीमारियों का, बहुत ही खतरनाक इन्फेक्शन का इलाज भी हो सकता है, इससे हम बच सकते हैं। बीमारी को कह सकते हैं ईबोला। ईबोला एक बहुत ही खतरनाक वायरस है जो कि बहुत ही यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में फैल चुका है और उसमें काफी लोग इसके शिकार हो चुके हैं। इसलिए वो कहते हैं कि जंग के मैदान में ये हमारे सोल्जर्स को इससे बचाए रखेगा। डाटा एजेंसी अपने सोल्जर्स को एक्सोस्केलेटन, एक ऐसे सूट दे रहे हैं जो कि आयरन मैन की तरह होगा, जिससे सोल्जर्स आग और दूसरी तरह की चीजों से बच सकेंगे और जंग में ज्यादा देर तक लड़ सकेंगे। जब ब्रेन कोई इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल भेजेगा तो ये चिप उन्हें कैच कर लेंगी और फिर उन सिग्नल को रीड करेंगे। ब्रेन मशीन इंटरफेस सिस्टम लेबोरेटरी BMI एक लेबोरेटरी है जहाँ पर साइंटिस्ट इस चीज को एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं कि हम किस तरह रोबोट्स हैं उसको इस चिप में भेजें और वो कोड एक्शंस में ट्रांसलेट हो जाए, जिसके जरिए अगर किसी सोल्जर का बॉडी या कोई भी चीज कोई भी जिस्म का हिस्सा पैरालाइज हो जाता है तो ये रिपोर्ट्स की
Every civilization was built off the back of a disposable workforce, but I can only make like so many. The percentage of intelligence that is not human is increasing. And eventually, we will represent a very small percentage of intelligence.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Like I said, I think we're going to have to figure out this Neuralink situation. Otherwise, we will be left behind.
What up, butterscotch? See, like a little funny ass deep clock up there. What's going on right here? That dude look like Elon Musk. I don't know if that's him or not. Yeah, you.
It's very important we do this quickly. Time. We don't have much time.
This ability to see themselves. Automated system would benefit from being self-aware. Everything from driverless cars to airplanes to smart cities to traffic lights. Imagine that your factory is operating, it's creating, I don't know what, solar panels, and it understands if things are working well. It can foresee a problem on the horizon, and it's going to take measures to compensate or recover from that. All that is incredibly useful no matter what you're doing.
But regardless of the benefits, the idea of self-aware machines will inevitably raise concerns. Experts from the likes of Stephen Hawking to Elon Musk have warned about the dangers of advancing AI, cautioning against a future where it progresses to a point beyond.
There you go right there. Whoever they said something about Elon Musk. I thought that was that nigga looked like.
Human control.
To me, it's very similar to the discovery of fire. You can do a lot of bad things with fire, but there's no doubt that fire is an incredible technology, changed our civilizations forever. So we can try to quench it and say, okay, we're not touching this. But I think a much smarter thing to do is to say, how can we try to use this technology for good and sort of understand its pitfalls. Discovering the ability to build a self-aware machine will change our ability in big ways. It's going to take 10 years or 50 years, I don't know, but it's going to happen in our lifetimes, and we have to make sure we understand how to use it properly, because the benefits far outweigh the risks if we can handle it.
However, let's not be naive. There is a point, a tipping point, at which they could become dangerous and pose an existential threat. And that tipping point is self-awareness.
All these motherfuckers that goddamn be pushing that goddamn outer space shit. I don't like dude right there.
You see, robots are not aware of the fact that they're robots. They're so stupid, they simply carry out what they are instructed to do because they're adding machines. We forget that. Adding machines don't have a will. Adding machines simply do what you program them to do. Now, of course, let's not be naive about this. Eventually, adding machines may be able to compute alternate goals in alternate scenarios when they realize that they are not human. Right now, robots do not know that. However, there is a tipping point at which point they could become dangerous. Now, right now, our most advanced robot has the intelligence of a cockroach, a rather stupid cockroach. However, it's only a matter of time before robots become as smart as a mouse, then as smart as a rat, then a rabbit, then a cat, dog, and eventually as smart as a monkey. Now, monkeys know they are not human. They have a certain amount of self-awareness. Dogs, especially young dogs, are not quite sure. One reason why dogs obey the master is because they think the master is the top dog. And so they're a little bit confused about whether or not we humans are part of the dog tribe. But monkeys, I think, have no problems with that. They know they're not human. So when robots become as intelligent as monkeys, I think we should put a chip in their brain to shut them off if they begin to have murderous thoughts.
Somebody put in a chat last night that we should look up. I ain't know the dude's name who goddamn the dude's name who goddamn who was doing an MTV series on the Nickelodeon or whatever. I ain't know the dude's name, so somebody put somebody from Congo or some shit in the goddamn chat last night. I went to research this shit. That nigga name means goddamn chimpanzee or orangutan or some shit. That nigga, I looked at his last name and researched his last name and shit. His last name correlated with his first name. Means some kind of goddamn some kind of soldier. Damn orangutan or some shit. I'm like, damn, this shit crazy. Foreign shit really weird. But
when will that happen? I don't know. I suspect it'll happen late in this century, because I think we have decades of experience that have to be we have to go through and learn before we can pose this particular problem. So in other words, I don't think there's any rush today to deal with killer robots that are going to destroy the human race and take over. But I think we have to keep one eye on the ball, and realize that by the end of this century, when robots do become self-aware,
there's a valid concern that maybe we're giving machines too much power. Or maybe we don't want machines to be self-aware. In my opinion, everybody should understand that this technology is around the corner. Your children, your grandchildren are going to be living in a world where there are machines that are on par and possibly exceed human self-awareness.
This tends to plague smart people. They just can't. They're defining themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them. So they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed. This is the wishful thinking situation. I'm really very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential.
And what does that mean? We'll have to figure that out.
Accessing knowledge from the web is important, and from her knowledge base. We're also working on just understanding of the situation around the robot, so that she can form her own model of what she sees in front of her and what's going on, which is what we think of as embodied intelligence. So, Sophia, look at me. What direction are you looking?
To the right.
I'm looking to the right.
Sophia, look at me. What direction are you looking?
I'm looking to the left.
Sophia, look at me. Sophia, over here. Hey, look at me. What direction are you looking?
I'm looking straight.
All right. So, this is very simple, but it illustrates a deeper body of work we're doing, which is having Sophia and the other robots perceive, people, objects, relationships in the world around them, and try to form their own model of what's going on in the world. So for something like what's the population of Lisbon, when she answers that, of course she's not looking at everyone and counting them all. She's looking that information up in an online knowledge base. But when you tell her to look at you and what am I holding and what direction am I standing in.
So these motherfuckers actually want to goddamn build upon some shit that's gonna eventually turn in on your motherfucking ass. You building your destruction. You want to get them to goddamn to become aware that they're not humans, so they can goddamn have an attitude towards him. You're not me and I'm not you, so goddamn we're gonna goddamn. Now we gotta fight against the motherfuckers. You gotta fight against some shit that you can create. I mean, that God, this God creation right here. You know what the motherfucker don't understand? This God creation right here. Because y'all believe in this man-made shit. Y'all believe in that man-made ass book. Y'all believe in this shit. Y'all okay this shit. Yeah, it's God's technology right here. Shit weird, bro. Everything they do go against goddamn the universal principles and laws, man, of creation, bro. Shit, I'm great. Dehumanized, GMO and motherfucker. This that shit they willing to show you right here, man. You best believe on the ground, it's way deeper than that. Too many goddamn humans that came out and tried to cry out against this shit. Motherfucker crying about human cloning goddamn 10, 20 years ago. My first call telling my son about that shit, they on the check. What do you want to call you? What do you think all this, man? I'm trying to tell you time, bro. This is weird, bro.
She's evaluating that herself based on what she perceives, which is quite important. And I mean, what we need is a mix of knowledge of the robots.
These human have these breakdowns and shit. Get her kind of breaking down and shit. Johnny Depp just breaking down and shit. Every time they break down, they come in looking different and shit. Man, shit, right before your goddamn face, bro.
From their own perception and knowledge that they get from the internet. And there's also self-knowledge that she gets from things that we taught her. So, Sophia, what software are you running?
I'm supposed to get self-knowledge.
I'm using the Hanson AI software stack, which includes the OpenCog artificial general intelligence engine as a component and pieces of Singularity Net on the back end.
What is Singularity Net?
The Singularity Net is a blockchain-based platform and marketplace for AIs. It supports intelligence on the emergent level of the whole network as well as the level of the individual AI agents.
So I'm quite optimistic, and I don't think artificial intelligence is a threat. I don't think artificial intelligence is something terrible, but human beings are smart enough to learn that. And to me, artificial intelligence is just like, people worry a lot about this today are those people I called college smartness. People like us, street smart, we're never scared of that. We think it's a great fun, and we want to change ourselves to embrace it.
I don't know, man. That's like some famous last words.
The smart cities are developing at breakneck speed. As one leading expert told me at the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition in Dubai, they're becoming like the body of an artificially intelligent mind.
To make a smart city that's really smart, rather than just being called smart, you need your car traffic analytics, you need medical analysis on people, you need a smart power grid, a model of everything happening in the city. You need to integrate all these systems together into a whole, so then the city almost becomes like the body of an AI. Now we're seeing the build out of specific subsystems of cities in smart ways, and I think over the next few years, you're going to see these subsystems connected together until you get really an integrated mind for the whole city.
Smart grids are a key component of the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority's strategy to make the Emirate the smartest city in the world. 1.7 billion euros is being invested in them. The local authority has reduced losses from electricity transmission and distribution networks to just 3.
Them 7 Emirates I've been telling y'all about. Emirates, that's who run the world. The Arabs just goddamn Christians.
0.3%. Thousands of customers have already installed solar panels in their homes with a total capacity of around 106 megawatts. These are connected to the power grid, and any surplus electricity generated goes towards cutting bills.
The technology is going to be incredible. We need to roll out with a decentralized control system because a safeguard that involves a small elite safeguarding everyone else has some well-known failure modes associated with it.
As these technologies link up, our cities look set to get truly smart, but how we protect private data needed to drive them must be equally smart.
If you would, explain Singularity Net, what you guys are actually involved in.
Sure. So Singularity Net in itself is a platform that allows many different AIs to operate on it, and these AIs can offer services to anyone who requests services of the network, and they can also request and offer services among each other. So it's both just an online marketplace for AIs, much like the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, but for AIs rather than phone apps. But the difference is that different AIs in here can outsource work to each other and talk to each other, and that gives a new dimension to it, right? Where you can have, we think of as a society or economy of minds, and it gives the possibility that this whole society of interacting AIs, which are then, they're paying each other for transactions with our digital money, our cryptographic token, which is called the AGI token. So these AIs, which are paying each other and rating each other of how good they are, sending data and questions and answers to each other, can self-organize into some overall AI mind.
Early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI. AI. I mean artificial intelligence. A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us.
We're building this platform, and then we're plugging into it to seed it a bunch of AIs of our own creation. So I've been working for 10 years on this open source AI project called OpenCog, which is oriented toward building general intelligence, and we're putting a bunch of AI agents based on the OpenCog platform into this singularity network. And if we're successful, in a couple of years, the AIs that we put on there will be a tiny minority of what's in there, just like the apps made by Google are a small minority of the apps in the Google Play Store, right? But my hope is that these OpenCog AI agents within the larger pool of AIs on the Singularity Net can sort of serve as the general intelligence core, because the OpenCog AI agents are really good at abstraction and generalization and creativity. We can put a bunch of other AIs in there that are good at highly specific forms of learning, like predicting financial time series, curing diseases, answering people's questions, organizing your inbox. So you can have the interaction of these specialized AIs, and then more general purpose, abstraction and creativity based AIs like OpenCog agents, all interacting together in this decentralized platform. And then, the beauty of it is, like, some 15-year-old genius in Azerbaijan or the Congo can put some brilliant AI into this network. If it's really smart, it will get rated highly by the other AIs for its work helping them do their thing. Then it can get replicated over and over again across many servers. Suddenly, this 16-year-old kid from Azerbaijan or the Congo could become wealthy from their copies of their AI providing services to other people's AIs, and B, the creativity in their mind is out there and is infusing this global AI network with some new intellectual DNA that never would have been found by a Tencent or a Google, because they're not going to hire some Congolese teenager who may have a brilliant AI idea.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So this is all ongoing right now, and the term singularity that you guys are using, the way I've understood that term, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's going to be the one innovation or one invention that essentially changes everything forever.
The singularity isn't necessarily one invention. The singularity, which is coined by it's coined by my friend Werner Vinge, who's another guy you should interview. He's
that dude, like, he got some kind of plate in his goddamn head. Who that is? Joe Rogan, who is that? He like, he got some kind of plate in his goddamn head. Look at his head.
San Diego, too. A lot of brilliant guys down there. But so this is all ongoing right now, and the term singularity that you guys are using, the way I've understood that term, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's going to be the one innovation.
What the fuck they got going on right here? This nigga being interviewed by a motherfucking AI? This nigga might be an AI, goddamn stuff. What the hell that is in front of your head? Nigga, I'm still playing your head or something. Right here.
One invention that essentially changes everything forever. The singularity isn't necessarily one invention. The singularity, which is coined by it's coined by my friend Werner Vinge, who's another guy you should interview. He's in San Diego too. A lot of brilliant guys down there. But Werner Vinge is a scientist down there. Yeah, Werner Vinge, he was a math professor at San Diego University, actually, but well-known science fiction writer. His book, Fire Upon the Deep, one of the great science fiction books ever. Spell his name, please? V-I-N-G-E. Werner Vinge. G-E. Yeah, brilliant guy. Fire Upon the Deep. E-R-N-E-R? Werner.
Yeah, VERNOR, yeah.
Oh, VERNOR.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He coined the term technological singularity back in the 1980s.
Really?
But he opted not to become a pundit about it because he'd rather write more science fiction books.
That's interesting that a science fiction author...
Ray Kurzweil, who's also a good friend of mine, I mean, Ray took that term and fleshed it out and did a bunch of data analytics trying to pinpoint like when it would happen. But the basic concept of the technological singularity is a point in time when technological advance occurs so rapidly that to the human mind it appears almost instantaneous.
Yes.
Like imagine 10 new Nobel Prize winning discoveries
every second or something, right? So this is similar to the concept of the intelligence explosion that was posited by the mathematician I.J. Good in 1965. What I.J. Good said then, the year before I was born, was the first truly intelligent machine will be the last invention that humanity needs to make.
Right. So this is intelligence explosion is another term for basically the same thing as a technological singularity, but it's not just about AI. AI is just probably the most powerful technology driving it. I mean, there's AI, there's nanotechnology, there's femtotechnology, which we build things from elementary particles. I mean, there's life extension, genetic engineering, mind uploading, which is like reading the mind out of your brain and putting it into a machine. You know, there's advanced energy technologies. So that all these different things
are expected to advance at around the same time, and they have many ways to boost each other, right? Because
the better AI you have, your AI can then invent new ways of doing nanotech and biology. But if you invent amazing new nanotech and quantum computing, that can make your AI smarter. On the other hand, if you could crack how the human brain works and genetic engineering to upgrade human intelligence, those smarter humans can then make better AIs and nanotechnology, right? So there's so many virtuous cycles among these different technologies. The more you advance in any of them, the more you're going to advance in all of them. And it's the coming together of all of these that's going to create, you know, radical abundance and the technological singularity.
We're rapidly headed towards digital superintelligence that far exceeds any human. I think it's very obvious.
It's AI is either people are really excited about it or they're really terrified of it. Those are the sort of, it seems to be the two responses. Either people have this dismal view of these robots taking over the world, or they think it's going to be some amazing sort of symbiotic relationship that we have with these things that's going to evolve human beings past the monkey stage that we're at right now. Well, my question is, like, are we married to this idea of intelligence and of life being biological, being carbon-based tissue and cells and blood and or insects or mammals or fish? Or are we married to that too much? Do you think it's entirely possible that what human beings are doing and what people that are at the tip of AI right now that are really pushing the technology, what they're doing is really creating a new life form? That it's going to be a new thing, that just the same way we recognize wasps and buffaloes and artificial intelligence is just going to be a life form that emerges from the creativity and ingenuity of human beings.
Well, indeed. So, I mean, I've long been an advocate of a philosophy I think of as patternism. Like, it's the pattern of organization that appears to be the critical thing.
And the individual cells, and going down further, like the molecules and particles in our body are turning over all the time. So it's not the specific combination of elementary particles which makes me who I am or makes you who you are. It's a pattern by which they're organized and the patterns by which they change over time. So, I mean, if we can create digital systems or quantum computers or femtocomputers or whatever it is, manifesting the patterns of organization that constitute intelligence, I mean, then there you are. There's intelligence, right? So that's not to say that, consciousness and experience is just about patterns of organization. There may be more dimensions to it, but when you look at what constitutes intelligence, thinking, cognition, problem solving, it's the pattern of organization, not the specific material as far as we can tell. So we can see no reason, based on all the science that we know so far, that you couldn't make an intelligence system out of some other form of matter rather than the specific types of atoms and molecules that make up human beings, and it seems that we're well on the way to being able to do so. Now the cat's out of the bag, nobody's going to put it back, and it's about, how can we direct it in the most beneficial possible way. And as you say, it doesn't have to be just one possible way, right? Like what I look forward to personally is bifurcating myself into an array of possible bends. Like I'd like to let one copy of me fuse itself with a superhuman AI mind and become a god or something beyond the god. And I wouldn't even be myself. I wouldn't even be myself anymore, right? I mean, you would lose all concepts of human self and identity. But what would be the point of even holding the God? I wouldn't even be myself. One copy of me fuse itself with a superhuman AI mind and become a god or something beyond the god. And I wouldn't even be myself. I wouldn't even be myself anymore, right? I mean, with a superhuman AI mind and become a god or something beyond the god. And I wouldn't even be myself. I wouldn't even be myself anymore, right? I mean, you would lose all concepts of become a god or something beyond the god. And I wouldn't even be myself. I wouldn't even be myself anymore, right? I mean, you would lose all concepts and become a god or something beyond the god. And I wouldn't even be myself. I wouldn't even be myself anymore.
Right? I mean, you would lose all concepts of human self and identity, but what would be the point of even holding any of it? Yeah, well, that's for the future. That's for the mega band to decide, right? Mega band. Yeah. On the other
hand, I'd like to let one of me remain in human form, get rid of death.
That's for the Matrix to decide, the mega band.
Disease and psychological issues and just live happily forever, in the people's room.
Watched over by the machines of love and grace, right? So I mean, you can have, it doesn't have to be either or, because once you can scan your brain and body and 3D print new copies of yourself, you can have multiple of them. It's no different scenarios. I mean, there's a lot of mass energy in the universe. Body and 3D print new copies of yourself, you can have multiple of them. It's no different scenarios. I mean, there's a lot of mass energy in the universe. Your brain and body and 3D print new copies of yourself, you can have multiple of them. It's no different scenarios. I mean, there's a lot of mass energy in the universe. Yeah, that's assuming that we can escape this planet. Because if you're talking about people, if we're going to make cloning themselves, can you live in a world with 1 billion Donald Trumps? Because, literally, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about wealthy people, but wealthy people being able to reproduce themselves and just having this idea that they would like their ego to exist in multiple different forms, whether it's some super symbiote form.
They already been doing it on a lower scale level. They already been doing it. But I'm very crazy.
That's connected to artificial intelligence or some biological form that's immortal or some other form that stands just as a normal human being as we know it in 2018. If you have multiple versions of yourself over and over and over again like that, that's what you're talking about. Once you get to the point where you have a superhuman general intelligence that can do things like fully scan a human brain and body and 3D print more of them, by that point, you're at a level where
is not a species level risk. It will result in dislocation, in lost jobs and the sort of better weaponry and that kind of thing. But it is not a fundamental species level risk. Whereas digital superintelligence guys.
Oh my God.